Welcome back, Kerbalots. Today we are going to do kind of a repeat of the previous mission. We have a different type of antenna on here. This is a resource sensor, something that's pretty realistic. We have a lot better power. We have a better antenna, including a relay antenna. So there's a chance that we can use this relay antenna to get us back into contact with our lost satellite, and maybe we'll be even able to have it do its mission. Because we have more power, we should be able to do our atmospheric scan, and we're also going to try to deorbit the upper stage, maybe. So we've got a couple of satellite orbits. We're going to at least do one in Kerbal orbit, and we might do one in Minmus orbit if we can scrounge it. In order to help us have fewer problems, we have fins to add the control. We have some more thrust to get us a little higher for the upper stage. Hopefully we'll be high enough by the time the upper stage fires off that it'll be better controlled, but we have a little bit more control than we've had before. Once we have an aerodynamic shell, these problems should go away. So let's go ahead and fire. We are moving. So like I've done previously, I've set the solid rocket boosters, I've limited their thrust a little bit so that they'll burn out about the same time that our liquid fuel burns out, and that will give us the best efficiency. So let's go ahead and run our atmospheric scanner. Start our gravity turn here. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, it's not. Okay. It's gonna be like this. Let's get back on target. There we go. How are we doing? We're doing alright. So, even though the center stage here provides thrust vectoring, which allows us to point the direction the thrust goes a little bit, it doesn't seem to be enough with this crazy of a poorly aerodynamic load. We don't seem to be able to balance it correctly. So we're just gonna give this a shot, see how we can improve things. We're also gonna start firing the middle engine at the same instant that we separate. That's not realistic at all. They take a few seconds before they fire off the middle engine, but it'll be fine. Basically, we're doing this to reduce the amount of time that we don't have the thrust vectoring. The fins and even the solid boosters will kind of provide some stability. Come on. Stay on target. Okay. Perfect. 30 kilometers were high enough where the atmosphere won't affect us too much. We should be able to control ourselves. Good. Good. Can I have more than one? No, that's what I thought. We'll do low atmosphere this time. Okay. So we have a antenna here to control the movement. At about this altitude, we would probably pop off the aeroshell. The atmosphere is not really significant enough to cause us any issues, and you'd get rid of the weight, but we don't have one. So that's not really an issue. Hey, we are effectively on our way to orbit. So let's go ahead and deploy our high gain antenna. And we'll transmit our data. Let's extend our solar panels so we have power. Looks like we did not do that in the right order. How close are we to... So we have these nice, lovely, long solar panels. It should help us to keep from having any of the power issues. And one thing that's nice is, just like most high gain panels, they have the ability to move themselves to point towards the sun. So it's really, really hard with these movable antennas to get yourself in a situation where you're stuck. Let's go ahead and... yeah, we'll wait a little bit. So here's the orbit we're going to target. It's pretty standard for what we've been doing for the last little bit. It's another geosynchronous orbit. They seem to get a lot of missions for those for whatever reason. And we are approaching Oasis a little bit faster than I would like. That's okay. Our power's still growing, which is good. Oh, good. Time to Oasis is growing, so that means we can point it almost perfectly horizontal. Just a little tiny bit of upward momentum. And we've basically guaranteed orbit as long as we don't run out of fuel, which is obviously not going to happen. That little phase change means that we are in orbit. Okay, we have a nice solid orbit now. Good, 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 good. We're able to transmit our data. Let's see what happens when I hit transmit data here. Man, that just... it aborts instead of sending in only part of the data. That is not very realistic at all. And realistically, if you had that much data, then you would be able to chunk it out into smaller parts. Okay, we'll figure that out though another time. Let's try to hit do just like we did last time. We'll hit the descending node. In fact, how far out is our lost satellite? There it is right there. It's fairly close, but we don't seem to be able to contact it, unfortunately. That's a pity. It is a pity we don't have a high enough gain antenna to do it. Oh well. Oh well. We're not quite at the right time. We want to have this be a little bit more rotated and a little bit more powerful. We want to just scrape that descending node with the Apoasis. Let's try that on for size. That looks pretty good. Okay. Warp to our next maneuver node. Keep an eye out for any sign that we're making contact with this satellite. We'll try to make contact maybe when we're at Minmus, if we can pull that off. There's a good chance we'll be able to make contact with it at some point in time. Okay. Standing by for the burn. It's kind of interesting to me that the geosynchronous orbits all have an inclination. You normally don't do that in real life. Normally you try to aim for 0 degrees. There are a couple of special applications where you can have it's called a geosynchronous but not geostationary orbit. Geosynchronous means it has a 24-hour orbital period, but so it'll appear at the same place at the same time of day, but it won't necessarily be in the same spot in the sky all the time, which is what geostationary is. Like NASA has some satellites to talk to, like the International Space Station, because it makes it much easier to do that with your own dedicated set of satellites for that purpose. And they are in geosynchronous but not geostationary orbit. I believe they do that to increase the amount of communication time that they have. You'll also see like Sirius Satellite Radio does something similar. They do it because it's cheaper to maneuver, and the orbit will allow them better coverage over their key markets compared to other times. Okay, well, same thing we normally do. We'll aim for part. Let's try to get the close to, but not quite, at our final. Okay, and now let's try to match the inclination. That looks pretty decent. Let's go a little bit further out. And a little bit further. Okay, we're touching the orbit, so let's check our inclination one more time. Looks like we're a little bit over. Nope, wrong way. I knew it should have been this way. Silly me. Okay. So we got a decent burn ahead of us, but that's okay. It actually can take more fuel to get into this geosynchronous orbit than it can take to get to the moon. Or geosynchronous orbit, Earth geosynchronous orbit than to the moon. One way to do a flyby of the moon. To orbit the moon or land on the moon takes more fuel, but all kinds of fun things. You can search Delta V tables and you'll find all kinds of interesting tidbits about the amount of fuel that it takes to get someplace, or other interesting factoids like that. compare a mission to Mars versus a mission to Venus. And there are some interesting differences between the two. Okay, this is good enough. Start sending perfect 0. All we should have to do is a burn about here to that looks pretty decent. And we have lots of moving power. There's no reason to be precise on our time. Come on. Yep, we just met one of the conditions, and let's move this out of the way. Okay, we completed that contract. Now, we still have our Minmus satellite. Oh, we didn't have a material base, so that's not gonna do it. Pity. Let's, just for the fun of it, see if we're still dead in the water. Yeah. We're still dead in the water. Well, So this is our original satellite, and then we have this one too. We have a little bit of fuel left. Let's try to make this one do the polar orbit. Actually, let's try to do what we were going to do last time, and we'll do the plane change further out, because it should save some fuel. Such a steep plane change. Okay. Warp to next maneuver. This one doesn't really matter how precise it is. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, now let's try to... Flight engineer, I love you, but you're in the way. Add a maneuver here. We are going to do... Oops, let's try to go down. That's pretty close to the plane that we're looking for. Let's take this in just a tad. Oops. Right there. Nope, that's no longer the plane we're looking for. Let's see, this is the plane we want. Yeah, that'll be fine. Let's just go ahead and do that. Then we'll just have to do 2 quick maneuvers. We can even do one right after to rein in the perigee a bit. The timing's not super important, so let's just go ahead and burn. Okay, good enough. And actually, let's do pure retrograde. Degree descending node. That's not too bad. Can probably improve that some. It's a lot harder to know when to do it, but let's just fast forward in time a little bit. Are we going the right? Yes, we are going the right direction. Whew. I was not paying attention to that, so that would have been bad. Okay, right here, should be able to adjust our inclination just a smidgen. I think that'll do. How much fuel do we have left? Not very much. Well, we'll still give this a shot. Does it look like it's going in the right direction? Yep. 2, 1, 0. Good. Now we've got that corrected. So all we should have to do is add a maneuver here to burn ourselves in till the two shapes match, which that looks like it'll do. We definitely have further contact from out here. So this orbit will help us to control moon missions. Assuming we don't get sucked into orbit around the moon. Let's just go ahead and finalize this. And there we go. And we've completed that contract. Yay! Still have a lost satellite that's out here. I don't know what we'll do with it. We have a little bit of fuel. So let's go ahead and separate. And we're going to try to deorbit. Of course, I totally went in the wrong direction to do a deorbit. A safety orbit. So we're gonna do the best we can, get well separated, because we have to thrust pretty much straight into that guy. Okay, this should be good enough. Actually, let's do this at our... We have no contact, do we? No, we do, because we're radio linked. Oh, there we are. Let's do this at our app oasis. Okay. This will give us the maximum chance to be successful in deorbiting. I don't think we have enough fuel to do it. Maybe we do. Well, we do. Alright then. We will leave this with the fiery death, I suppose. So yeah, we're doing good at cleaning our space debris out. We have a little bit of a relay satellite that's kind of in a lunar type orbit that might be able to help us with some future moon missions, although we don't have any ability to control it really at this point in time. And I think we're sitting pretty decent. I think that's all we've got time for this time. If you guys have any other questions about spaceflight, about Kerbal Space Program, other programs you'd like me to give a realistic view, or whatever it might be, then leave me a note in the comments. And thank you very much for joining me, guys. We will see you next time. Take care.